we're not concerned about anyone else right now. It's Alex Eala time. This is Alex Eala's moment. Our days, our dinners, our evenings are fixated on when she's playing. That's real tennis fandom right there. Love it.
This is so great for tennis in general.
Yeah.
I think having players like Alex out there, and she's so gracious to all her fans. She spends time with her fans, signs the autographs, takes the photos, and really just shows the Filipino community that it is all about the Philippines. And I still carry that flag with me no matter where I go across the world. And such a young woman at that has that wisdom of just what it means to play for her country.
Only 20 years old, such maturity, already a hero to her entire nation. I mean, it's basically Manny Pacquiao and Alex Eala, right? I mean,
That's it.
That's who they're looking up to right now.
Alex Eala has just shattered a ceiling, reaching a ranking milestone, previously unheard of for any tennis player from the Philippines. And the update couldn't have arrived at a more dramatic moment. She battled her way through a grueling contest that very nearly cut her Indian Wells campaign short, but she emerged victorious anyway. She then woke up the very next day to discover she had achieved the highest ranking of her entire professional life. And you can be certain the entire tennis world is now watching her with intense focus. What do you believe is the ceiling for Alex Eala's ranking by the end of 2026? Can she break into the top 20, the elite top 10, or is something even greater in store? Make sure to post your own prediction down in the comments right now, but for the moment, let's state the facts plainly. Alex Eala is now officially ranked as the world's number 28 player, according to the WTA Live rankings. This marks a new career high and represents a benchmark that no other Filipino tennis player has ever managed to reach before her. She earned this historic position by winning a spectacular match down in Indian Wells, California. That, by all accounts, she had no right to win based on how the game was unfolding, only to then show up at the press conference looking completely unfazed by the monumental effort.
Yastremska left herself exposed when she came forwards. It's a golden opportunity missed, believe it, after working so hard to get the break. She's been broken right back. Oh. Couldn't have placed it better. The noise is deafening inside Stadium 3. One of the best. But there's just too many errors in her game. Too many double faults. 8 in this set alone. 15 for the match. And it hands Alex Eala a 4th match point. It's Eala's night, and the Filipina wins a blockbuster close to midnight in Indian Wells. Look at the great respect between these two. This was a sensational match. Dayana Yastremska more than played her part. Lovely respect between the two, but it's Alex Eala who thrives in these matches. She thrives in these kinds of atmospheres, and she's done it again. 7-5, 4-6, 7-5. Incredible, absolutely incredible. And if not the match of the tournament so far, it's certainly a big contender, and it's going to be hard to beat. I think the support in the end got her over the line, but you've got to feel for Dayana Yastremska. She had chances.
The victory over Dayana Yastremska, with a final score of 7-5, 4-6, 7-5, was anything but a clean and comfortable win, where Eala dominated from the start and sent everyone home early. It was a ferocious battle that went the full 3 sets. The match featured multiple dramatic swings in momentum, including a point in the third set where Yastremska had secured a break and was dictating play, looking for all the world like the player about to close things out. But then Eala did what Eala does. She managed to find another gear when it seemed like there was absolutely nothing left in the tank. She unleashed some of the most courageous and aggressive tennis of her entire day, completely turning the tables. That phenomenal win propelled her from her official ranking of 32 up to the number 28 position on the live rankings. And before the wider tennis world can even fully process the magnitude of that match, she is already slated for a round of 32 showdown against Coco Gauff. That's right, world number 4. Coco Gauff here in Indian Wells on American soil with Gauff's home crowd behind her, and it's happening less than 1 month after Gauff defeated her 6-0, 6-2 in Dubai. It appears the universe has a very particular and ironic sense of humor when it comes to scripting Alex Eala's career path. But let us not breeze past this ranking achievement because it truly deserves its own moment of recognition before we speculate on what's next. Being number 28 in the world in women's tennis on the WTA Tour is a massive deal. This is a sport that is played in every corner of the globe and has produced iconic legends from dozens and dozens of countries. It is also a sport that features one of the deepest and most intensely competitive professional circuits in the entire landscape of athletics. To be sitting at number 28 in that incredibly deep field at just 20 years old as a player from the Philippines is an accomplishment that warrants far more than a simple casual nod before we pivot to the next story. This is a genuinely historic achievement for her and her country. The many followers who have been watching Eala's career since her junior days, from the time she was winning junior Grand Slam titles and capturing everyone's attention on the development circuit, have been eagerly waiting for this very kind of upward surge at the senior professional level. And now that moment is undeniably here, cemented in the official rankings and backed by legitimate wins against world-class professional players on the sport's most important professional surfaces. The number is posted on the board. It is no longer a matter for debate. And the journey she took to get here tells a much richer story than the ranking alone can convey. That's because Eala has not constructed this ranking by defeating easy draws in minor tournaments. She has been competing on the biggest stages against formidable players who are fully capable of beating anyone on any given day, and she has consistently been finding ways to win when the matches get tough. That fighting spirit is the pattern that has defined her 2026 season thus far. Take a moment to consider what this year has already looked like for her. She is competing consistently at top-tier WTA events against the best-ranked professionals in the world. She is regularly advancing to the later rounds of these events, which puts her face-to-face with the biggest names in the sport. She is also generating a level of fan support so significant that tournament directors are taking notice because her fans are following her from city to city, filling the stadiums with an infectious energy that becomes a real factor in the match itself. And remarkably, she is accomplishing all of this while still actively refining her technique and developing her strategy, still identifying the specific elements of her game that demand enhancement, and still adapting to the immense physical and psychological pressures of a full-length professional tour season. Her raw inherent talent was never in question. That natural ability has been glaringly obvious to observers since her formative years as a teenage prodigy. The persistent question mark always hovered over her consistency. It was a matter of whether she could successfully translate her junior circuit dominance to the senior level week after week against competitors who are notably stronger physically, vastly more seasoned in high-stakes competition, and are quite literally competing for their livelihood. That very question is now being settled with each match she plays, and the verdict is leaning more and more towards a definitive, resounding yes. Let's delve into what the number 28 ranking truly signifies in the broader landscape of the women's professional tennis tour. The elite top 32 players on the planet are granted automatic entry into the main draws of all Grand Slam events. Positioned at number 28, Eala is now nestled comfortably within that prestigious bracket. This means she can completely bypass the grueling qualifying rounds, avoiding the arduous preliminary bracket that players must battle through just for a chance to compete in the main tournament. She now gets a direct pass into the main draw at the most significant championships in the entire sport. This provides an enormous advantage not just logistically, but also from a crucial mental standpoint. Players who successfully navigate the qualifiers are acutely aware that they've already endured several intense matches before the first round of the main draw even commences. In stark contrast, players who gain direct entry are able to meticulously conserve their physical and mental energy, allowing them to prepare with laser focus for their specific first-round opponent and to arrive at the tournament free from the cumulative fatigue and stress of the qualification process. By reaching number 28, Yaela has officially earned the privilege to prepare for majors in the exact same manner as the very top players in the world. This is not a minor detail. It is a transformative milestone. It fundamentally changes how you map out your entire season, how you manage your body's recovery and peak performance, and how you approach every single event armed with the confidence of having a guaranteed seat at the most important tables. Furthermore, if she manages a deep run at Indian Wells, and if she can overcome the formidable challenge of Goff and continue her winning streak, that ranking number will climb even higher. The live rankings are updated dynamically in real time based on the points accumulated, which means every single victory immediately adds to her total and propels her further up the global standings. A successful campaign reaching the quarterfinals or semifinals at a Masters 10,000 event like Indian Wells would yield a substantial haul of ranking points, and it could realistically thrust her into the world's top 20 for the first time in her burgeoning career, the top 20 on the entire planet. That statement requires a moment to fully register. Consider that just 2 years ago, the primary question was whether Yaela could even establish herself as a stable fixture within the top 100 on the senior tour. Then, only 1 year ago, the entire conversation shifted to whether she possessed the ability to breach the top 50 and, more importantly, sustain that ranking. And today, the top 20 is no longer a distant aspiration. It is a realistic, achievable, and mathematically plausible outcome that could materialize during the course of this very tournament. The upward trajectory of her career, when laid out on a timeline, is almost staggering in its speed and steepness. And yet this is the reality we are witnessing. Now it's time to address the unavoidable topic in the press conference room. The fact that Yaela's reward for defeating Yastremska is a match against the opponent who beat her most recently and in the most decisive fashion. Facing Coco Gauff at Indian Wells represents the exact kind of high-pressure scenario that rigorously tests every facet of a player's game and mental fortitude. Gauff is not merely the player ranked number 4 in the world. She is performing in her home state of California, where the crowd's support will be overwhelmingly and vocally in her favor. That home crowd element generates an intense atmosphere that is incredibly challenging to navigate when you are the visiting athlete. The collective momentum of a stadium filled with thousands of people willing every single point toward your rival is a palpable force that tangibly alters the feel of a match, how pressure escalates, and how minor errors can quickly snowball into lost games. Yaela acknowledged every one of these factors in her press conference following the win against Yastremska. She openly stated that the match is going to be exceptionally tough. She confirmed her expectation of a massive crowd fully supporting Gauff. She also conceded that she will need to summon an even deeper level of resilience and performance than she did in her previous match. And then she affirmed that she is both excited and ready. A declaration that stands as either the ultimate expression of confidence from a player who just survived a match point or a brilliantly crafted public statement concealing the Gover's immense level of mental preparation happening behind the point 100 to 2023 scenes. It could be a bit of both. In fact, it is probably a combination of the two. The Dubai result, a 6-0, 6-2 defeat, is the specific scoreline that critics consistently highlight when they wish to pump the brakes on the growing momentum surrounding Yaela, and they are not entirely incorrect to reference it. That score signifies a version of Coco Gauff, who was operating on a plane where Yaela was genuinely unable to find any effective answers. The sheer power, the relentless consistency, and the blistering pace of Gauff's game were simply overwhelming on that specific day. There is no positive way to spin a 6-0, 6-2 loss. It was an utterly dominant performance from Gauff, and an important if harsh learning experience from Yaela's perspective. But here is the critical piece of the narrative that the critics often conveniently omit from their analysis. Yaela played that match while at a lower ranking at a much earlier stage of her 2026 season, and before embarking on the series of victories that has now propelled her to a new career-high ranking. The athlete who steps onto the court at Indian Wells is not the identical player who walked off the court defeated in Dubai. She has since fortified her game with more high-level match experience. She has built a deeper reservoir of confidence from having successfully navigated incredibly difficult situations. And crucially, she now possesses the specific first-hand knowledge of what Gauff brings to the court and what precise tactical adjustments she must implement. Whether those strategic adjustments will prove to be enough to reverse the outcome is an entirely different and more compelling question. But the set of inputs going into this rematch are fundamentally different from the inputs that led to the result in Dubai, and that distinction matters immensely. It is also crucial to remember that Eala and Gauff possess a shared history that goes far beyond their individual singles matchups. They previously competed together as doubles partners at an earlier stage in their careers. This experience means Eala has observed Gauff from an incredibly close vantage point within a cooperative framework, having witnessed her movement, communication, and strategic analysis of situations firsthand. That specific kind of intimate knowledge does not automatically result in a singles victory, of course. However, it is certainly not an irrelevant factor. Understanding an opponent on a personal level as well as a professional one provides a unique layer of intelligence that goes deeper than what can be gleaned from simply analyzing match film. The overall narrative surrounding Eala in 2026 is precisely the development that the entire Philippine sports community has been eagerly awaiting with mounting anticipation. Tennis operates as a global sport with a very firmly established hierarchy, and to penetrate the top tier of that system as an athlete from the Philippines without the benefit of extensive infrastructure, the sophisticated coaching pipelines, and the historical track record of success that competitors from nations like the United States, Russia, the Czech Republic, or Australia take for granted is a feat genuinely more difficult than it appears from an outside perspective. The investment and resources funneled into developing a top 30 player in those established tennis countries are absolutely immense. These include comprehensive development systems, world-class academies, early talent identification programs, and substantial financial support. Every one of these elements compounds over many years, creating players who step onto the senior tour already battle-hardened and exceptionally well-supported. Eala arrived at this level powered by raw talent and a formidable work ethic. She also possesses a mental resilience that has been on full display since she was capturing junior titles and compelling the tennis world to pay close attention at a remarkably young age. She bears the collective aspirations of an entire nation with her. Every time she steps on the court, she is scheduled to play on. The passionate fan base that travels to support her cheers her on and floods social media with encouragement after every single result is a clear reflection of her importance to sports in the Philippines. Her ranking of number 28 in the world represents far more than just a number. It is a powerful statement about what is achievable. It serves as concrete proof that her upward trajectory was real, that her success in the juniors was a preview of her potential and not its peak, and that the senior tour is unequivocally where Alex Eala belongs. The very same critics who raised doubts about her ability to succeed at this professional level, who openly wondered if her junior accomplishments would translate to the main tour, and who questioned if she truly possessed the necessary attributes to compete consistently against the world's best, are now the ones intently observing the ranking updates. And those ranking updates are communicating a clear, consistent message that is reinforced with each match. She is here, she is rising, and she has much more to accomplish. The tournament at Indian Wells is not yet finished. The match against Gauff is fast approaching. The crowd's energy will be palpable. Her opponent will be among the world's elite, and the moment itself will be of massive importance. But an athlete who can fight back from being a match point down in the final set and then proceed to tell the media she's excited for her next encounter has a special quality that rankings alone can never fully articulate. Today, her position stands at number 28 in the world. The most compelling question that remains is determining what her ultimate ceiling truly is. As of right now, absolutely no one has a truly convincing answer to that question, which, if you have been following her story from its inception, is the exact thrilling and uncertain place you always hoped it would arrive. That represents the complete story of Alex Eala's ascent to number 28 in the world and what this milestone signifies for her career as she moves forward. If this report has you fired up and excited for what is coming next at Indian Wells, please hit that like button and be sure to drop your own ranking prediction for her in the comments below. And if you have not yet subscribed, please take a moment to do so. We will be bringing you more extensive Eala coverage for the duration of the tournament.